Okay, so hello everybody, welcome back. I hope I'm live and everybody can see me. Okay, great. So, hello everybody, welcome back. Let me just check if I'm live and everything is fine, video, audio, and all. Just one second, guys. So, uh, we have already done CSS preprocessors part 1. If you have not watched it, then go ahead and watch it. I've just taken it like today morning at 10 a.m. It was a 2-hour session. I just introduced you to what is CSS preprocessors and how does it work, what are the basic fundamentals, which is really important to understand the concept of SAS and CSS. SCSS, right? So that's what we have understood in this session, CSS preprocessors part 2. We are going to understand some more concepts of CSS, which was left, right? We have not understood inheritance, we have not understood if else, how to write, and the looping concepts as well. So we are going to take a understanding of that, and then we are going to do one project based on that. I'm also going to show you some more projects based on CSS preprocessors, but that will be also working as an assignment for you, right? So I'll just show you the code and you have to identify how this works and what all components we have used in those projects, and then you can assemble it again and do it as a project for your assignment. uh, Also we'll be understanding about less, right? Because we have already understood about SAS and SCSS, so we have to understand what is less basically and how does it work. We're not going to do anything particular about it, but I'm just going to show you how does it work, right? What is the difference between both of them? That's what we are going to see. Can anybody please let me know if my audio is clear and you guys can hear me carefully, right? Okay, perfect. I think from my side everything is perfect. Let's get started, right? Now, I'll give an introduction what is happening here, but before that, let me just introduce myself to the new joinees. If you are new here and you are not watched any of the sessions, then just an introduction of mine so that you can understand what is happening here. So my name is Ritwik Raj and I'm a corporate trainer. I have been working as a content strategist and a research analyst and a subject matter expert in most of the edtech companies. I have 3+ years of teaching experience and I've trained graduates and corporate employees, and I've trained more than 30 students till now. It is increasing day by day. Okay. The subjects which I take is mostly into front-end development, backend languages, database, and interview guidelines, tips and tricks. And you can also use my code, which is RIT10, to get a free Relevel sample test paper. If you do not have any idea what is this free Relevel sample test paper, don't worry. Soon I'm going to tell you about this, and then you can use the code, which is RIT10. Okay. Now, many of you must be knowing, if you're following my sessions, you must be knowing about Relevel, because we have been promoting this from at least 3 months. And if you do not know, no worries. If you're a new joinee, just let me introduce it to you. So Relevel is basically a platform where you can, get interviewed or hired on the basis of a skill and talent. Now, what is the reason behind Relevel product is many times candidates miss out on great opportunities due to multiple reasons, right? It can be any of the reasons, like maybe they have done BSc or BCom, but they want to shift into IT field. They have the skills, they have been applying to 50-60 multinational companies, but nobody is getting back to them, or nobody is basically calling them because of their degree, right? And sometimes also this happens that many of them have done B or BTech or engineering, but still they do not get chance to get back the reply from MNCs, right? The reason can be of their colleges. Maybe they are from tier 3 college. That is the reason they're not being able to get a reply back. But these are some of the foolish reasons, because if they have the skills and the talent, then they should be getting interviewed and hired, right? So that is the gap which Relevel is filling up, and it is India's first hiring platform by Unacademy, which is helping job seekers find their dream job. And you can get a job on the basis of skill and talent, so you do not depend upon any degree or other people in your network, right? So what are the benefits of participating in the Relevel test? Now, over 50+ companies, including top startups and unicorns, are there with us, and you can attempt a particular level test, which is of 1,000 marks. If you score above 700, you'll be eligible for a profile, which we'll create for you, and this profile will be shared with all the 100+ companies, and you will get interviewed and hired on the basis of that, right? So that's a very good thing. But suppose if you're not scoring 700 above marks, then there is no worry, because after 1 month you can reattempt the test again, and there are 1,000+ job positions across, so you have a lot of options on getting into any company with the particular field, right? So these are the benefits, but how to register yourself in Relevel? So in the video description, you can find a link. When you click on the link, you will be able to register yourself by using a mobile number and an OTP. Once you do that, you have to choose the test of your choice. So suppose if you have gained some skills from my front-end development playlist and you have learned how these things work, and now you want to give an test of front-end development, so you can select that and then you can book a slot when you want to give the level test. Slots are limited, so I suggest you to book it fast. Once you do that, you have to fill in the details for the admit card. So your full name, email ID, birth year, current state, gender, everything you need to fill. And do not forget to fill here the coupon code, which is RIT10. Once you do that and click on apply, what's going to happen? You're going to create your account on your create, and your account will be created with the sample paper also. Suppose if you're not putting up the code, you will not get the sample paper. So please make sure that you're using the code, which is RIT10. You can use the sample paper to get an idea that the 1000 marks level actual test will be containing what kind of questions, what pattern of questions, and will be really helpful for you when you will solve this sample paper, right? So that is what is Relevel. And suppose if you have already registered for it, then all the best for the exam. If you have not done it, go ahead and do it. If you have already done it and you have given the exam, and if you have failed, then please go ahead and attempt in the next month also. Suppose if you're not ready for the test, then go ahead and watch the YouTube channel of CodeBeyond. Check out what all educators are teaching you, like backend programming, DSA, CP, frontend. Many of the things are going on right now. So go ahead and check out those so that you get upskill yourself. And then when you're ready, come back and register for A-level, right? So you can also join the Telegram channel, because in Telegram channel, we are going to provide you all the live session details when particular which topic is taken by which particular faculty or educator. So that's what update is gonna given in the Telegram channel. So please click on the link which is given in the description and join the Telegram channel as well. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is CodeBeyond, and hit the notification bell so that you get notifications in the YouTube app as well. Also, please like and share these sessions, because more you will share and more you will like, more number of people will get to know about these particular sessions, right? Meanwhile, my students are joining. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just tell you, if you're new here, then I'm just going to give you a brush up what all things we have done till now. So basically, this particular playlist was created on October, right, 2021, in which we understood how and what all things we require to become a front-end developer, right? So HTML, CSS, JavaScript Advanced, and most of the things were covered till November. And then I took a break of 1 month because of some urgent work, and now I'm back again, right? So we have some of the advanced topics left, which is like CSS Preprocessors and jQuery and Bootstrap. Some of the topics are left, right? So these things are left. We are going to just complete that, and then we are moving with React.js. And once React.js will be done, then we are going to cover simultaneously with React.js, we are going to cover one backend programming language. And then after that, we are going to move into database, which is MongoDB. So that's what is the plan. And if you have not seen my playlist, go ahead and watch it. Go ahead and see what all lessons are there, what are sessions we have taken. And once you are once you have seen all these sessions, do not wait, go ahead and give an interview, right? Go ahead and attempt interviews, for internships as well, and see whether what we have taught or what we have learned together, whether it's benefiting you or not, right? So that is what is the plan. Do not just wait for the sessions to complete, because this YouTube channel or my sessions will be there for at least 1 year. So I'll be there for you, but do not wait for those sessions to come. Keep on learning, keep on attending interviews. Okay. Now, so this is CSS Preprocessors part 2. Part 1 is already taken 2 hours before, like 10 a.m. I started and it was till 12 p.m. where we have understood some of the basic concepts. And here now we are going to complete, or we are going to understand some of the different topics. Like we have understood these all things: variables, operators, nesting. One second. Nesting, mixing properties, partials and all. We have understood these all things. Now we are going to understand inheritance, looping, if else, right? And then we are going to move ahead and see how it works in Sublime and all. I'm going to just tell you these steps, how does it work, and then later on we are going to do a project as well. Okay, so this is what is in the plan. So let's get started. If anybody or any student is watching, then please give me a thumbs up that you guys are there and you guys are watching it. Some of my students are not here because they must be having some work, but this video will be there in the playlist so you can watch it anytime. Okay, now let's not talk about inheritance, looping and if else directly. First, let's talk about what we have done till now and what we have not understood, right? So we have seen SASS and SCSS, right? We have seen that, but I have never told you what is the full form of it, right? I never explained you what is it basically, correct? So here it is called as syntactically awesome style sheet. Okay, you know that CSS is basically cascading style sheet and SASS is syntactically awesome style sheet. Okay, whereas SCSS, when you talk about, this is basically sassy cascading style sheet. Now what is the difference between these two? Because I think nobody questioned me here that why I've written SASS folder here and then I've written SCSS. All the files are basically SCSS here, right? Why is it so? What is the difference between these two, right? So there's no difference at all. Basically, SASS was used when there was only CSS, right? When CSS was there, then they were using SASS. But when CSS3 came into picture, then its name got changed into sassy cascading style sheet. That's it. That is the only difference. Only the name difference is there, nothing else. All the commands and everything is same. Okay, so just remember the full form because maybe sometimes interviewers can ask these things as well, and you should also be knowing about it. So just explaining this. Okay, so yeah, that's what is SASS and SCSS. Less and stylus is something different. It's the CSS preprocessor, but again, it's totally a different thing. Okay. Hi Vivek. Hi Octavio. So that's what it is. Okay. Now, but there is one more difference in these two. Okay, let's talk about that. So in SASS, whenever you write a SASS, right, it actually have all the particular properties. It is having variables, it is having mixins, it is having all the things which we have seen, operators and all, everything, right? But the syntax when we write it, right, it does change. So when we write SASS, it's basically same working as SCSS instead of no curly brackets. Okay, so in SCSS we do give curly brackets like this, right? We do give these curly brackets, correct? But when you talk about SASS, we do not provide these all. What do we use here in SASS is basically the indentation, which you must have seen in Python and all, right? So in Python, you must have seen indentation. Like we just write, let's say we write if, and then we write any statement. Let's say 10 is greater than 9. And then what do? We put up here one space, and then we write the statement, whatever we need to print, right? So let's say I'm writing here printf, right? So this is a space which you're giving, right? This space is telling me that this statement is inside if statement, correct? That is what we understood by indentation, correct? And that's the same thing which SASS also follows. So in SASS, what happens? Suppose if I'm writing this, right? So it will be written something like this. This is what is SASS. Okay. And don't you think it looks very, very inappropriate? Because sometimes you will face difficulty when you have a long program, you have a long code, you will face difficulty in understanding what is happening here, right? Because only a star, if you by mistake, if you just remove it, then the whole program will change, correct? So that's why in SCSS, they recommended to give a curly bracket so that it becomes a block and people will be, or developers will be able to understand that these are nothing but a block of statement which should be showing one of the property or many of the properties for that particular element. Okay, so that is also one of the difference. So here we have curly brackets. Okay, to understand in a example manner, I've already shown you, but if you have not understood, don't worry, nobody's gonna ask you this. But for your knowledge, you should understand that in SASS, it was used when CSS was there and was not having any curly brackets. They were using indentation. When CSS 3 came into picture, this name changed into SCSS, and here we use curly brackets, not indentation. Okay, so that is what is all about your SASS and SCSS. Okay, now coming to revision, let's recall whatever things we have studied till now. So we have understood about variables. We have seen how we can use variables, right? And I think I have also created one of the files of variables, which is a partial. So this mixins.scss and variables.scss is a partial, which is basically kind of a package. So we created this partial and we included this partial in our main.scss, so that whatever code is written here can be come here directly as well. So in this, we can add whatever particular variable we can create. Now here, it's not only the colors which you can create as a name. I mean to say, it's not only the color. Let me just take one of the color. Okay, so it's not only the color in which you can give the variables, but you can also give any value to any of the variables. So let's say that if I'm writing here font stack, right? So I can give here any of the font stack as well, not only any color. So anytime I want to use any of the font stack, I can use this variable in that place. So let's say if I'm writing Helvetica and sans serif, this is one of the font style which I want to use, so I can use it. Otherwise, if I want to use any of the other font stack, so I can use that there as well. Right? So this is how you can use, and yeah, so that is what is a variable. The next thing which you have understood is our nesting, and nesting I've already shown you how we can do that. I think that's in the main.css. So you can see here that you have the showcase. Inside showcase, we have you can see here inside our showcase we have our h1 and p. So because it's inside showcase, h1 and p is inside showcase, so in CSS also you can write it in that manner. So inside showcase we have mentioned, see, I'm not closing the curly bracket here, right? Curly bracket of showcase is closed here at the end. So we are writing h1 inside showcase, we are writing paragraph inside showcase. Not only that, but the hover effect of h1 is also written inside. The hover and the after effect of paragraph is also written inside. When you're writing like this, when you're doing a nesting kind of thing, like, so what you have to do, you do not have to add the same element here, you just have to write ampersand. That means the parent element name is here. Okay, so that's how you get to understand, that's how the program understands. Fine. So this is also which we have seen, which is nesting. Next, what we have seen is modules. That is nothing but your partials, which we also call as modules or packages, you can say anything. So we have created two more files, mixins.scss and variables.scss, in which we created two more files where I've kept one file we have kept all the variables, in one we have kept all the mixins, and this is the main file. The next is nothing but your mixins and functions. So mixins is always working like a function. So you write the function. It's just that we do not write the function name, but instead we use mixin. So, but it works exactly the same like functions. So we create the function with some properties and all, and that function can be called whenever you want to call it with the help of @include. Also, you can have some properties, any number of properties you can have. Why? Suppose that one of the property is different in some of the different properties. Let's say that here in h1, I want 8 pixel and 5 rem, but in paragraph I want 3 pixel and 3 rem. So both the values are changing here, right? So in those cases you can create the common function, but you can pass the parameter so that different values can be passed in that case. So this is what is your function parameter as well, that is mixin properties, right? And now after mixin, what all things we have understood? Anything else? Yeah, these all things we have understood. Now let's go to inheritance. Okay, let's understand how this inheritance works. So what I'll do is I'll just create one more file. I'll just name it here it as extend.css. You can name anything. I'm just creating a partial of it, a module of it, so that I will have a separate code for only extend.scss. Okay. So let me just show you how does it work first of all, and then in the project I'll show you how the inheritance actually works. Fine. Guys, if you can call any of your friends, please do call them, because I can see a very less number of people are here. So it'll be really good if you can call any of your friends. They will also get an opportunity to understand this codes, right? In the main CSS, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import this. I don't think there'll be any use of it, but yeah, just to explain you how to import, writing it extend. Okay, just normal way I've given extend name. There's no such thing that you have to give the name as extend. No, you can give any name. Extend means inheritance, that's why I thought of this name. Okay, so now here what we have to do, so this basically works the same way how your mixin works, right? Your functions work, but in functions what happened, the common codes we separate it and write it at once, and then whenever we want those common codes, we just call it directly, so that the same code should not be repeated, right? Same thing happens here, but instead we use the inheritance concept here. So let's say you have done Bootstrap, right? Bootstrap, I think 2 or 3 sessions I have taken, and you must know that there are so many buttons in Bootstrap, right? We have so many buttons, right? So let's say I have a message button. That's a class, right? Basically a class. I'm not writing any Bootstrap code. I'm just writing the logic of it. Okay, so there's also a success class. You must be knowing these names: warning, error, success, message. These are all Bootstrap buttons, right? But I'm not using any Bootstrap. As you can see in the HTML file also, I have not used any path of Bootstrap, so I'm not using Bootstrap here, but I'm just writing a particular code here. Okay, so dot warning. These are the 4 things which I'm writing here. And here what I'm going to do is, for all the buttons, I'm going to give some styles to it. Let me just create those buttons as well. I hope you are understanding what I'm doing. There is no problem in this. These all things have been taught to you, so I believe you know how these works. So 4 buttons, right? And in these 4 buttons, different class names are there. So I'm just going to name those classes: success, error, and one more which is warning, right? Here also we'll do the same thing. Okay, cool. So all the 4 buttons are created. I hope you can see my code. Right, now let's go to extend CSS. Now in this message wala class, I want to give some of the styles to it. So let's say I want to give border. Let's say I'm going to give 1 pixel. Let's say I'm going to give solid. And let's say I'm going to just give one random color, which is CCC. Okay. Then I'm going to also give here a padding, a normal padding of 10 pixel. I'm going to also give a color, which is the text color. So in this text color, I'm going to give 333. Okay. And to this message also, what I'm going to do is, I've given already a border color, right? Okay, let's leave it. Okay, let's save this. Let me just comment it out. I think it will give an error. So let me just check out. So I'm going back to my browser, and you can see here there are 4 buttons, right? There are 4 buttons. Those are down below because I've given BR tag. I think I should also give one BR tag to my paragraph because it is touching the paragraph as well. And now it looks good. It's very small, but it's fine. So we have message button, we have success, error, and warning, right? Message is looking a little bit different because we have given styles to that. We have given styles to our message, right? Same thing, we can do it to my success and all also, right? So what I can do here is I can give this, I can give this, and I can give this as well, right? And let me just remove it. Now here, I'm going to change the color. So border color, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give red. Let's save this and let's check out. So if you look here, you can see the border color is red. I don't know if you can see it, but because it's the border color, you can see here, right? Border color is a little bit different, right? Should we just make it the background color so that you can see it clearly, right? Okay, let's change the background color of this. You can see my code. Okay, so success means winner, right? So let's say green, and we'll change the color here as well. So we have background color, what is this? Error. So let's say red, and this is warning, so we'll give a yellow, right? Okay, this message will keep it white itself. So now you can see what we have done. We have just given, we have done nothing as well. We have just given a code to all my buttons in which we are just writing some of the properties, right? So if you can see the page, it looks something like this. Okay, now here you can see we already have now duplicate codes, right? This code is duplicate, right? So we need to remove it. We need to do something about it. So I'm just going to cut it from here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use inheritance in this now. So how I'm going to use inheritance in this now is we will use percentage, right? And what I'm going to use here is message shared, just a name to the, just like how do you create a mixin? You give a name to it. I'm just creating one particular inheritance and I'm giving a name to it. That's it. Here I'm going to paste down my repeated code. Whatever code was repeated, I'm just using that. Okay. Now, because it's not a mixin, that means it is not using any @mixin. I cannot use here @include. Mixin is only used with include. Include is only used with mixin. So here, because I'm using percentage, that means I'm using inheritance. SCSS tells me that you have to use here an extend functionality. So extend means you're using inheritance. So I'm going to extend what? I'm going to extend my message which I have written already. So this is what is the message which I have written and I am just writing that. Okay. Now here again this code is repeated. So what I can do, I can remove it and I can just write this much. Again I can remove it, I can write this much. Again I can remove it, I can write this much. So all of these lines are basically having this code itself, right? So if I save this, you can see there is no change in the browser. It's the same thing, right? This is what is inheritance. So what is happening in inheritance in Java? Do you recall in Java what was happening in inheritance? What was happening? We were having one class. So this is, let's suppose this is the class. We were having some more classes. Right? And If you are writing extend keyword, that means that class is extending from the upper class. So all the properties in this class is getting extended and is written here. That's how inheritance works in Java, right? Or in any of the language. That's what I'm doing here. So I'm writing extend message shared. That means in the message shared, whatever property is there will be belonging here as well. Right? The properties which is extra, you must write it separately. That is what is inheritance concept. Okay. So this is how inheritance works. Now let's understand what is the next one, which is looping or if else. Okay. So let's try to understand that one. Any doubts in this? Please do let me know. Okay. So now that we have understood extend or inheritance, let's understood the conditional statements. Looping and if else will combinedly come as conditional statements. So we are going to see that. I'm just going to use one more file here. So let me just write here conditional. Okay, and we'll create a file. Let's name it here it as conditional. 1 second, I'm doing something wrong. We should place underscore here. Okay, so conditional is already there in main.css, so we can start writing our conditional as CSS. Now let's try to first understand how this code is written. Okay, and then we are going to understand what is happening inside this. Fine. So here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write a simple code. Okay, try to understand what is happening. The first thing which I've written is an include, right? That means if the include is there, that means a mixin is also there, correct? And whatever is written inside that mixin is gonna come here in this next class, correct? So why don't we create a mixin, correct? We already have one mixin thing here, right? So we can write a mixin here, correct? So what I'm going to do here is, let's say I'm going to create a mixin. This mixin name was triangle. So I'm going to create a triangle and it was having some parameters as well, right? You must have seen I have written here 5 pixel black and right. So that means this is the direction, this is the color and this is the size. So the same parameters I can give here, but whenever we give any variable, we do use a dollar symbol. So size, what do we have next? We have color. And then what do we have next? We have direction. So this is the mixin. Inside this mixin, we are going to put down some of the properties. I'm just going to write height. Let's say width 0. Let's say border color. Transparent. Border style. Solid. Border width, dollar size by 2. So we are also using operator now, right? We can use divide. Dollar size is having the value which is coming from here is 5. So 5 pixel by 2, that will be the border width, right? That is how it gets calculated. Okay, what next? Now have a look here. So here I'm going to use if and else statement, right? And we have color and direction also given, right? So let's try to understand how do we use it. So if you look here what I'm writing, I'm using @if. That's an if statement. And I'm going to use the variable which is direction. So if the direction is equal to up, right? If the direction is equal to up, what's going to happen? Something should happen because that's a conditional statement, right? So we need to write the condition as well. Border bottom color, we're going to change. We are going to change it to the color which we have given. So the color which we have given is, I think, black. Yes, black. So if the direction is upwards, then the border bottom color will become black. Similarly, what we can do is we can have now else if, and in that we are going to use some other statements. So you can write again else if, right? And in this we can give anything else. So let's say dollar direction right. Okay. Now in this we can have border left color dollar color, right? Similarly, we can have for down and left as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just copy and paste. Here I'm going to just write down, and here I'm just going to write left. This is bottom left. Here we are going to top, and here we are going to write right. Okay. So all the directions are done. The last one which you're going to do is the last else statement. In this else statement, we are going to just write an error because it will not match any of the condition. I'll just write it here as an error. In this error, we are going to just write here an unknown direction. Okay, with the direction value. Whatever direction you're giving, that direction value will come here. Okay, 1 second. Okay, fine. So this is how you write the if and else statement. We'll again understand this program, but let me just check out if everything is fine. So in conditional.scss, we have written the next thing, and then we have written the mix in here. Condition is already written in mix in, so we do not need this, right? Let's remove it. Let's write it somewhere here. You should not get confused. Conditional.css will delete this because it's of no use. Conditions are already written in mixins. Going to remove this as well. Let's save it. Let's save it. Okay. Now this next class should be there, right? So we'll create that, but let's first check out what is happening. So in the next class, whatever it is, it's a div element basically. So whenever we are using a div element, we have an include triangle which is having 3 values: the size, the color, and the direction. And then we have these 3 things passing on. So we have size, color, and direction. Height and width is 0, and border color is transparent, border style is solid, border width is $size by 2. And if the direction is upwards, border bottom color will be that color, which is black. Else the direction is right, then it will be left color will be that color. If the direction is down, the top color will be black color. If the direction is left, the right color will be that color. If you're not putting up any of the colors, if you're not putting any of the directions up, right, down, or left, then what's going to happen? It's going to basically give you a written statement of unknown direction with that value which you have given. Up, right, down, left. Instead of these all, if you're writing any of the other text, then you're going to get this particular error, right? This is how it will work. Let's see what is happening in my CSS once. If I go to my main.css, you can see here Dot next, height width 0, border color, border style, border width, border left color black. The border left color black. Why is it border left color black? You can see here, border left color black is coming here. So the direction is right, from the right. Whenever we are putting something, we put from the right hand side, right? That's why it's giving the color border left color black. Okay, not bottom, not top, not right. It's coming from the left. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's create here itself. One second. Let's check out if we have missed out on anything. Mixins, extend, variable. Oh, the color is black. That is why it is not visible. One second. So you can see here, we have the paragraph. We have these buttons. This is the div. You can see here. This is a small portion which is shown there, right? So that's the next. It's very small. We can increase the size. We can change the color. You will be able to see that. But that's what is your next. Okay. So let's do some changes here. Next is 5 pixel, right? Let's just check out. Yeah, the color is black. Let me just change this to red. Okay. So here you can see what's happening, right? So it's giving me which kind of arrow? The left arrow, right? So if you can see in the code also, you will see in main.css it's border left color red, because in my CSS mixins we have written here what direction will be there. So direction is right. So the border left color will be the red color. Right now the direction is right in my. Okay, do let me know if I'm live. Okay, perfect. Great, just 1 second guys, let me just check if everything is fine now. Okay, great. I hope now you can see all my files as well, right? Okay, great. So we were in the project. Let me just open the folder again. I think I opened another folder. 1 second. So that was my live SASS. Yeah. So this was my file, and we have understood all of the things, right? We have understood different properties of SCSS. We have understood about variables, operators, nesting, mixing properties, partials, inheritance, and how to write the conditional statements as well, right? So these all things are done. Now what you're going to do is we are going to create one project, a basic project, and we're going to understand how basically we can work in one of the files, right? So I'm just going to first of all open this up in my browser so that I can show you the earlier output. I think we got stuck and that's why it was not there. So this was our first thing which we created to make you understand what is CSS preprocessor. And now we are going to move into my project. Okay, so let's go back. So here we have one project folder. Let's do one thing. Let's create one more folder here. So let me just do one thing. I will create a folder and then I'll come back to my project. So folder is created. Let's name it as project 1. I'm going to close it. We have one folder here, project 1. I'm going to create one index HTML, right? And we'll have some more folders here. So I'm just going to first create a SASS folder. Inside this, I'm going to create one main.scss, and that's it. Okay. So here we are going to write all my HTML commands, and in SCSS file, we are going to create our CSS commands or the SCSS commands, right? That's what we are going to do. Now, before doing all of these things, I want to tell some of the things which is really important, which I think you guys were telling me to explain, right? The Sublime mode. So in Sublime, what you have to do, right? Now, understand when you're using Sublime, I'll just write it here so that you get an idea of how to do it. So when you're using Sublime, in Sublime, you have to basically use Node.js or NPM to work with it. I'll just write it here so that it'll be easy for me. So in Sublime, whenever you're using CSS, you have to use Node.js. That means you have to work with NPM. You need NPM to make your SCSS work, right? So basically, first what you have to do is you have to first of all install this, right? So install Node.js or NPM. How you will do that is go to your website and just write here nodejs.org. Once you do that, you can see this recommended for most users. Click on this, it will get it downloaded, and once you click on that downloaded thing, you would just install it. So installing is very easy. Just click on next, 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 and finish. It will get installed. Once you install this much, now next what you do is you have to open CMD, and in CMD you have to basically check out whether your NPM is installed or not. Okay, so I'm just going to write it one by one, by step by step, so that you can understand how to do it. So first you have to go to nodejs.org and you have to install NPM. Second, what you have to do is you have to open CMD and you have to check if NPM is installed or not. So how you're going to do that? The command is very simple. You have to just write np-v or --v. Okay, you can use this to check out whether it is there or not. And let me just show you once again. So I'm just going to open my CMD. So here is my CMD. I hope you can see this. Let me just check if you can see this. Yeah. So I don't know if the font is very small, so I don't know if you can see it clearly. But yeah, so that is what it is, npm --v. When you do that, you'll be able to get the version number. So you can see 8.1.2 is what it is showing me, right? So that's what is my npm version. If you want node version also, you can get in the same manner. Now, once you do that, what you do, you have to start or initialize your npm. So you have to write npm init, right? Npm init will initialize your node package manager. So once it will start your node package manager, it will ask some of the things like it is asking here, package name and all the other things, right? So you can just hit enter, right? You can write description, you can just leave it. That's all upon you. Once you do that, just hit enter. It will ask, is this okay? You can just go ahead and click on yes. Once you do this, your npm is now started, and now what you can do is you can install your SCSS here. That means SASS here. So for SASS to install, what you have to use, you have to use the command npm install node dash SASS save for developers. So npm install node dash SASS dash dash save dash dev. This is the command which you have to run. Once you hit enter, it will start downloading your SASS files using npm, and after that you can start compiling your particular file. So I'll just tell you how to do that as well, and I also write these steps in my Visual Studio Code, so don't worry if you can't see the text, and I know it's very small. If you can't see it, don't worry. In Visual Studio Code, I'll start writing this thing again. So this is what is already done. My SASS commands are already fulfilled, so it's already there. Now when you write it in, when you open this particular folder in your Sublime, right? When you open this folder in your Sublime, you will be able to find some things, right? So just let me do it again and show you properly. What I'm going to do here is, I'm going to show you from starting what you have to do. So I'm just going to create one folder. You can see my Sublime. Yeah. So you can see here, this is my Sublime. One folder was already created. Let me just show you how does it look like. So this was my folder, which is Ritwik. Okay. This folder you have to create in your CMD itself, right? And in the CMD, in this folder, you have to put down all your commands, right? So let's do one thing. I'll create one more folder here. So just doing open folder, and I'm going to go to desktop, going to create a new folder just to show you how does this happen. And here I'm just going to write CodeBeyond. Okay. CodeBeyond. Yeah, just CodeBeyond. Okay. This is the folder in which I want to do something. Okay. I'm just going to select this folder, right? Going to minimize this, going to minimize this, going to open my CMD. We know that I have created one of the folder, which is CodeBeyond. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to open my command prompt, and here in this one, I'm going to go to my folder which I have created. That is in the desktop itself. So I'm going to first go to my desktop. Inside the desktop, I'm going to go to my folder which I have created just now, which is CodeBeyond. And in this, I'm going to start my npm init. That's the CodeBeyond folder in which I'm starting my npm now, right? This is the package name. You can see CodeBeyond. Now I'm going to hit enter. Version is given. Hit enter. Descriptions, I'm going to just write explaining how SASS works in Sublime. That's what I've written. And entry pointed index.js. Test command, just I'm hitting enter. That's, you can also do. Author, just I'm going to write here Ritwik. License, leave it. Is this okay? So it created one particular chart for you, right? So this chart is nothing but your JSON file. Can you see? I have explained you what is JSON file. This is the JSON file which your npm will create for you with all the necessary informations like name, CodeBeyond, whatever description you have given, all those things. It created one JSON file. Now you hit enter and it's done, right? So now if I open that particular Sublime file, right? This was my folder, right? This was my folder. You can see here package.json. That is already there in my CodeBeyond thing. I don't know if you can see Sublime. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can. So you can see this. Let me just drag it also. You can see this package.json. You can see all the information here. Now what you have to do? So script is already there. What you have to do? You have to create some more files here, right? You have to create what all things? You have to create index.html, right? So I'm just going to save it. I'm going to just write here index.html. Okay. Similarly, what you have to do, you have to create some more things. You have to create one folder of CSS. You have to create one more folder of SASS. Right? Inside this CSS, you will have your main.css. That means the main file in which your CSS will come. The same way how you did it in Visual Studio Code. So here we'll create one new file. I'll save it as style.css. And again, in this SASS file, you have to create one more file, which is main.css. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to right click, new file, save, main.scss. Once these all files are created, what you have to do, you have to start writing your code. Okay. So in index.html, you'll start writing your main thing. In title, I'm just going to write understanding SCSS. In the body, I'm just going to write here h1 welcome to SCSS. That's what we have written in our HTML. Similarly, you can add the links. You will have the links. You can add it, which is which is style.css, right? But now the problem is that it won't work. Why it won't work? Because we have not installed our SASS here, right? So how do we do that? So again, we open the command prompt, right? And in this, what do? We write that particular npm install command. The npm install to the same folder, okay? To the same folder, npm install, we are going to write here node SASS. Node SASS is the name of the file, and then we are going to write save for developers. Once we do this, it will install all the packages of SASS folders in my current folder, which is CodeBeyond folder. So you can see it is created one of the folder here. You can see this. This is the node module folder which is getting created. And in the node module, now we have all the files of our SASS, right? So now your SASS will start working, right? Now, if you go to package.json, you can see here that it's written script here, right? Which is test. So now, if I write here, let's say if I'm writing here link, relation style sheet, href, right? CSS style.css, this is what I've written. If and only if I do this, what's gonna happen? Nothing is gonna happen, because in my SCSS and CSS I have not written anything, right? So here what you have to do, you have to remove this and you have to write your own compilation of SCSS, because you want to compile SCSS. Right now my SCSS package is there, but it is not compiled. So we need to write compilation of that. So what you have to do, we have to write here compile SASS, then the name of the package which you have installed, which is node SASS, and in which file is it installed? It's in, this is the file which will get run, and this is the file in which we have our CSS file. So this is the path which you are giving. Inside SASS folder, you have kept the CSS file, and inside CSS folder, you have kept the style.css file. That's why what you're telling it to the node SASS thing. Okay. Now, if I go back and if I in my main.css, I write something, let's say I'm writing here color red, right? You can see there's no color here, right? But what I have to do now here is we have to go back to my command prompt and we have to run a code here. So what code we have to run here is npm run. What was the name of the compile thing which we have given? We have given compile SASS. So once you run this, this thing is running now, right? And now we can see the output. So you can see here, as soon as I run it in CSS file, you can see it's already there. Earlier it was not there, but now it is there, and now it's running. So if I copy this file path and if I go to my browser, where's my browser? Here's my browser. One second, guys. Yeah. So here, if I paste it, you can see it's in red color. Okay, so that means my SCSS is working right now. But there's a problem here. What is the problem here? So the problem here is, if I go back to my thing here, you can see here, if I change this, right? Let's say if I change this background color to black. Okay, I'm saving this, but in CSS it's not getting updated. Can you see? Color red is not getting updated. Why? Because this particular command, which is run npm run compile sass, we have to do it again. So if any changes you are making in your SCSS file, you have to run this command again and again. And once you do that, then only you can see the change here. Can you see the change here now? Background color black, it's coming now, right? So now if I save this and if I go back to my browser, if I reload my page, you will be able to see the background color. But this is very hectic, right? Every time you change even one single code, you have to go to CMD, you have to run the code again to again reload the page, right? But this is very hectic. So what you have to do, you have to start watching it. How do you watch it? The same thing in Visual Studio Code. How do you watch it? We click on watch timer, right? In same thing we'll do here. So in this case, what we do, we have to go to package.json and you have to just mention here -w. That means you need to watch this every time. Okay. So now what we'll do, we have to save this. Let's change something else here. Okay. Text align center. Right now it's not happening because once we need to run it again. Okay, now you can see the command is different here. See, earlier it was giving me two different green color things, but now it is not giving me that because I've written watch. So now we don't have to write the command again and again. Now it's stable. So even if we now change the codes, we do not have to run this command coming to CMD and all. We don't have to do those things. So now if I okay, am I back? Okay. Yeah. So you can see my code, right? Command prompt. So it is reading, it is watching my particular file. So now it's still running, right? And now you can see the changes automatically. Whatever changes you will make, this will come up every time. Okay. So if I change it to green, this is gonna work directly. Fine. So this is how you can work with Sublime, but it's too much hectic. You have to do a lot of things. You have to change your package.json. You have to do a lot of things when you're working with Sublime, right? So there are a lot of things to install as well. So that's why we do not prefer to use Sublime and we use Visual Studio Code. But yeah, that is how we can do it. So I'll do something. I will also mention it in my Visual Studio Code. Let me just open it up. I don't know if you can see my Visual Studio Code. One second, guys. Can you see it now? Perfect. Can you see my browser now? Yeah, now you can see my browser as well. I'll close the other things. Okay. Yeah, so coming back, we have understood how we can install SASS in our Sublime, but I'm going to also put it down in my text where I've written all the things. I'm just going to open my live SASS, and here we created this, right? So yeah, open CMD, check if npm is installed or not, and then we have to create one folder. Create one folder. Create one folder and open it up in CMD, right? And then what you can do is you have to install node SASS. No, you have to first initialize. So you have to first initialize npm in that folder. So you can use the command which is npm init to do that, right? Next step is basically to install the SASS. So what you can do is npm install node SASS. Then you have to use this command of save developers. Now once you do this, it will install the SASS for you, and now you can open the Sublime. You can open Sublime. You can see package.json as well, right? And once you see package.json, what you have to do, you have to create folders now, right? You will start creating folders as well. Create folders for SASS and CSS, right? And the next step is basically to change the script in package.json, right? So what do you change it there? You change your compile code. So you have to write compile.sass with a double quote. Put it down in a notebook for now. This can be asked in your interview, but not basically not it's not important as such, because if you've done it in your Visual Studio Code, it's fine. But still, if you want to learn how to do it in your Sublime, then this will help you. So you have to write this. This is the path which you have to give in your package.json. If you want to watch it, then you need to write -w to watch it. Okay. How you need to compile your code? So for compiling in CMD, run this command. What command it is? This is basically npm run whatever name you have given to that file. In package.json, you have given compile SASS. This is what is the command which you have to run. Once you do that, you will be able to see everything in your web page. Okay, so this is how it will happen. This is what is for Sublime. They are the steps for your Sublime. I hope there is no problem in this. Still, if you face any difficulties, try to switch to Visual Studio Code. It's much more easy. It's just one server which you have to it's just one compiler which you have to install, and just click on watch SASS and it will do all your work. So that's why don't use Sublime if you are finding it very difficult. Okay, now we are creating one project, but we moved into Sublime. So let's complete this thing and then let's move to the project. One more thing is there which I wanted to show you. So if I go back here, we have something called as less, right? And I told you that I'll be teaching you about that as well. So this is very important. This is very simple, very basic thing. And I'm not going to show you any project based on that or any practical about it, because it's very simple. So have a look what you have to do basically. So same things, same process, same concepts, just some syntax is changed, nothing else. So if you see, less is also in CSS with just a little more, and you can use it with Node.js. There's the command which you have to use. The command which I have written here is for SASS, which you can see here. This was the command for the SASS by using Node and Npm, right? What all commands you can use here. The same thing when you're using for less, you can find it here, right? It's already given. If you're again facing any problem, click on GitHub, click on docs repo. It'll take you to GitHub and you'll be able to find it there as well. What you have to do. Otherwise, go to Google, type here dead less watch CSS. This is dead less CSS watch GitHub. So dead simple less CSS watch compiler. If you click on that, you'll be able, if you scroll down, you'll be able to get all the commands. You can see here. Yeah, you can see here npm install -g less watch compiler. This is one of the command. Npm install -g less. This is the npm command. Okay, so all the commands are also given here. Again, I'm explaining. Go to Google, write dead simple less watch compiler. You'll be able to get all these things. Okay. Again, if you're learning less, then only do this. Otherwise, do not waste your time. Now, what is this? How does it work? All the overview is given here. You can see here the topic, variables, mixins, nesting, operations, escaping, functions. Everything is same. Everything works also the same way. We can see here variables. They have taken a variable of width. You have taken a variable of height. They're using the operators here plus sign, and they're just doing it. The same way is to do it like this, but they are using it in a variable way. Mixins, they have created a mixin here, right? And the same mixin, they're using it everywhere. You can see here bordered. It's just the syntax which is different. Here they don't write @mixin. Here they just write bordered, and then they call it like a function. How do you call a function? The same way they call it here, right? So this is mixins is the same way, just the syntax is different. This is what is less. Again, if you go to nesting, there is no syntax change. Also is the same thing. You can see your header, then you have the navigation, and then you have the logo. But remember, here we don't put an ampersand. Here we don't put ampersand, we directly write it. So there are some little bit changes with respect to SASS when you talk about less, but the concept is basically the same thing. Okay. There is a bubbling concept also here. If you want to check out, just check out this document itself. You will understand everything, each and everything. Okay. Most of the people do not use less. They use SASS because it is much more efficient to use, and commands can be used directly. So you don't have to use so many commands like base, filler and all. So directly you can do. There's one more thing, calculate. So you can just use CALC function to calculate any of the percentage and pixels. Escaping is also one of the thing. Namespaces and assessors. These are some of the concepts which is there in less. If you want to read it, go ahead and understand from this particular web page or this particular document itself. Nothing extra you require. Do not go to any other YouTube videos or try to understand less. There are not much more enough videos on less because nobody makes it. They always make it for SASS or SCSS. But if you want to understand less, this is enough. Okay. Otherwise, go ahead and check out this GitHub where you will understand how to compile a program. Just the way how I have told you for SASS, how do you compile your program? The same codes are given here. See, this is the command to compile your less commands. Okay. So less watch compiler, then source directory, that means the folder directory, and then the destination directory. This is the command. Try to type it down and then you will be able to run it. Like we write .scss, for less we write .less. That's it. There's no change as such. Okay. So it's very easy, just like SASS with some syntax change. That's it. Nothing else. Fine. So there's no problem in that. So that is what is less. Now we have understood about Sublime. We have understood about less. We have seen how SCSS also works. What is the difference between SASS and SCSS? Now the only thing which is left is our project. So let's stick to our project and let's just create that. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, please do let me know. I'll be able to guide you. Fine. Okay. I think I've already created some of the folders here. So SASS folder is there, main.css folder is there. It will be really good if you can write this down because I'm going to delete this. So please just watch it and write it. Meanwhile, I'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes just to take a break. Watch it and then we'll continue for 1 hour to create the project, right? And then I'll give you the assignments and then done. We'll be done with CSS Preprocessors. We'll continue with Bootstrap. Okay. We'll try to understand what is Bootstrap then. Half of the portion of Bootstrap is already completed in November. I think Bootstrap 1, Bootstrap 2, we have already done. We are going to continue the Bootstrap series. So we are going to understand a lot of new things in Bootstrap as well. Okay. So try to write this. Bhaiya, please conduct front-end developer mock interview and resume for front-end developer. Rohini Patil. Okay. 1 second, just let me write it. So mock interviews will create. We'll plan it maybe in next week, right? So I'll create a form. I'll create a Google form and I'll attach it in my Telegram channel, or we'll attach it in my live session. You can click on it. You can add your resumes there, right? You can add all your profiles there, and I'll be able to see. Once I'll see, I'll check. I'll tell you what updates you can do there and what all things you can add, what is necessary there, and what you should remove it from there. All those things I'll mention it there. So we'll do a quick mock interview session as well. I have been following the front-end videos from 5 days. The way you teach, that's awesome. The other videos are really helpful for me. Cool. When we can expect React.js classes? Viresh, Ramesh, React.js will be starting after 12th of Jan, because till 12th I have already planned some of the things like Tailwind CSS and completing Bootstrap and doing 2 hour sessions of jQuery as well, which will be on 8th, I believe. So on 8th, I'll be taking jQuery as well. So once we complete these till 12th, the next day we are starting React.js. And also with React.js, we'll be simultaneously doing backend programming, maybe Python, Java or something. So yeah, that's what is the detail about that. Okay, cool. So guys, I'm going to remove this now. This is going to basically take a lot of space, and this is my index.html, right? So here, understand what I'm doing, right? Basically it's a project which is taken from one of the website, okay, and it's a replica of it. So if you see here, there are some of the things which is written here, and I want to just mention you what are those things, right? I've not written any SCSS program right now. This is just an HTML which I've written here, and I believe I do not have to show you the HTML writing part because it'll take a lot of time. So I've just pasted it here. So just have a look what all things are written here. Okay, these things you already know. I've just added a link here of SASS main.css, and from here let's start covering and let's check out what all things we have written here. Okay, so we have here a header. The first thing which you have written here, an header, and inside the header, this whole thing is an header itself. So that means this whole web page is only having the header part, not the content, not the footer, not anything else. This whole thing is just the header. In this header, we have this showcase thing, and inside this showcase, we have a first div. This div is getting closed somewhere at the last, which is a container. The first is the showcase, then is the container. In the container, we have the navigation bar, in which we have first the logo, and then we have 3 links, which is of home, about, and services. Cool. So that means there is a first of all the showcase, then a container. In that we have the logo and we have 3 links, which is home, about, and services. After the navigation bar, we have one more particular div element, which is a showcase content, in which we are writing some headings and some paragraphs. Okay, with 2 links, which is learn more on sign up. And from the class, we can understand that it's a button. Okay, the class is given, it's not a bootstrap, but we are going to write the CSS properties for these classes. Okay, that's what we have done. And there is also one more image, which is from themesbrand.com. One image is also there. Okay, this is just the HTML part, so do not worry. What I'm going to do here is going back to my browser, and this is what we are getting here. Okay, so we have this first nav part, then we have this showcase content part. This is the image, right? So this is the thing which we have got till now. Now what we will do, we have to write the CSS, and we also have to convert the SCSS to CSS, correct? So that's what we are going to do. Now, first of all, if you look here, CSS file is not created till now, correct? So let me just write first command of main.scss, and then what we are going to do is we are going to click on watch SASS so that a different file can be generated. Okay, so here first of all what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a color, right? So basic color will create, which will be used all over the page. I'm going to use a primary color. Let's say I'm going to use here 0E6CFF. So this is the primary color which I'm using. Now this is the SCSS. Okay, remember that. So here now, first of all, what you do, first of all, what do we do in our projects? We give the margin padding and everything, right? So I'm going to just place here margin as 0, padding as 0, and box sizing as border box, right? This is the first thing which I have done to my web page. Now if I save this, it's not gonna do anything in my web page. Let's have a look. So you can see here. Okay, so what do we do here now? We click on watch SASS. Once you do that, my CSS file will be created, and as soon as my CSS file will be created, you can see that it is creating this thing, right? And if I go back to my browser, you can also see the changes. So my margin padding, everything is now 0, and now my SCSS is now working, right? So what I can do, everything from here is on place, so I can just close this, and now I'll start working on only SCSS. Okay, so color is generated, border, margin, padding, everything is given. Let's start writing for our body. So in the body, what I'm going to give here is a background color. So let's say a background color, I'm going to give here as F4. This is the background color which I am providing. Okay, and the next thing which I'm going to do here is I'm going to give here a font family. Okay, this font family I'm going to use a variable itself. So I'm going to use here a font stack. Above I can give a font stack. Not also that, I can also change this particular color to a variable. So I can change this to maybe secondary color or maybe a light color. Okay, so here I can write or mention light color. Font stack. Let's give a font stack here. Okay, these are the variables which I've created. Don't worry, these variables will not be kept here. I'll create a partial for it and I'll place all these variables in that. Okay, so meanwhile we have created these all things, and in the body also we have given all of these things. In the body I'm going to also give a line height, because all the text is very close to each other. So I'm just doing that. And let's go back to my browser. Let me show you the browser. I have not saved the files. I save it, and here you can see. So the background color is kind of a gray color, and all the text are now a little bit far away from each other because I've given a line height. Okay, so everything is now in place. Now let's start creating some mixins and some of the other things as well. Fine. So now what else we can do? So let's check out. In the HTML, we have first of all this header, right, which is a showcase. So let's try to code something in that, because that showcase is our main header, and we need to give it some of these spaces, right, like display flex or grid, where it should be presented. That's what we need to give. So here we'll create a showcase, right, and in this showcase we are going to put down some of the colors and all. So in the background color, I'm just going to give here a primary color, and you're going to also give a color in which I'm going to choose primary color itself. But if the primary color is white, I think the text color should be black. So let's give a black here. And the next thing which I'm going to give here is some height. So I'm going to just give here a 600 pixel. And once this showcase is completed, you can see here that inside the showcase, we have a nav and we have UL, we have H1. All of these things are inside showcase, right? So don't you think we can use nesting here, right? So we can use nesting and we can write nav and all everything, every command, every other command inside this itself. That is what is nesting, correct? So I'm going to use here a display. I'm going to give flex because we want all those navigation links one by one, right? Not in a horizontal, not in a vertical way, but in a horizontal way. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to put up align items center and also justify content. I'm going to put up space between. This is for only my nav, and inside nav, if you can check out, inside nav we have UL. So don't you think inside this we will create our UL, right? Because it's inside nav. Inside nav we have our UL. I'm going to just make it here also as flex, right? And then list style type, will put it here as none. Cool. Now inside UL, if you check out, we have li. So don't you think after this we can create our li as well, right? And inside this li we will give a padding of 15 pixel. That's it. Now let's check out what is happening in my browser. So all these codes, whatever codes we have written till now, here is for showcase, for nav, UL and li. So let's check out what's happening. So you can see here, we have got a background color in the showcase. Not only that, but my home, about and services is on the right hand side because we have used display flex, and everything is in the center with the space between. So in between those command, in between those text, we have some spaces, and also the padding is given as 15 pixels. So there's a padding as well, right? So these all things are done, and these all things are done using what? Using nesting. So if you look at main.css, this is not going to show you nesting, but it's going to show you something like this. Can you see? Dot showcase nav, dot showcase nav ul, dot showcase nav ul li. So now it's very easy, right? It is already taking 41 lines of code, but here we have not even reached that much, right? So this is, we have used our showcase right now. Let's do some more other things as well. So what I'm going to do here now is, let's see what is happening to my image. So my image is already bulging out of the blue color, but we do not want it in that manner. We want it to be inside. So let's do something for that. So let's give some, okay, you can see one more thing, that this is also UL and LI, right? And this is an A tag, but the A tag is having, is not having an underline. This A tag is different and this A tag is different, right? So for that also we need to do something. So what I'm going to do is coming back to the code, coming back to SCSS. Here I'm going to mention two things. First of all, understand that this image width, I'm giving it as 100%. Okay. Why? Let me show you. So if I look here, you can see here, this is taking all the portion, all the space of my web page, right? That is why I've given 100%. Okay. Now what I'll do, this 100% image, I'll take it and I'll drag it inside the blue color thing. How we are going to do that? Let's see. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put down one more thing here, which is of anchor tag, and we need to give, okay, 1 second. Sorry. Yeah. So text decoration, none. Okay. So we have got everything now. Now we will also code our A tag. So let me just check where is our A first of all. A is inside li, but we cannot put that because inside every li we have A. So what I'm going to do here is we are just going to write here a color and we are just going to say here it as primary color. Primary color is white, I believe. So let's check out what is happening in my browser. So if you can see here, because my primary color was kind of this blue, so you can see here the link is there but it's not visible, so it's blue only, right? For this we need to do something. What we can do here is, now understand what we are doing here is we will write a code in which we will change the text color. Okay, so let's do something else. Okay, let's keep this as black. Let's create a hover and let's change the color of that. So if the color is already black, let me just make it white. You can see a lot of different colors we are using here. That's not a way of writing the code. So I'll change it later on. But right now, just to show you how does it appear, I am writing these codes. So if you look here now, yeah, so this is changing and to this, nothing is happening. Why I'm telling you now here, because this is also an anchor tag. This is also a button. This is also an anchor tag, but nothing is happening here. It's only happening here because that's nesting which you are doing, right? In the nesting, we have mentioned a tag and this is what comes here. So we are getting all the things here, right? But there are a lot of there are a lot of places where we have used colors, right? So we are going to change that. Soon we are going to write a program for that. But let's first understand some other things. So what I'm going to do here is, you can see here that inside this showcase, we have a container, right? And also we have this content part as well. So let's first code this content part, then we'll try to code the color as well. And because this inside showcase, we have the showcase content. So cannot we mention it inside this showcase itself, right? We can mention it. So what we'll do here is, UL is getting completed here, right? So here we can start writing our content part. So and content, so it will be showcase content or no? No, this also will be removed from here. This is Laika, this is A, this is A, this is UL, and this is nav. Yeah, so now inside showcase we have and content, and inside this we can create our command. So let's say I'm giving here 100%. This is the content part, okay, the paragraph, the heading, and the image, that part. So we are giving height 100%. Let's give a display flex. Let's give here an align item also, which will be center. Justify content, which will be center. And from the top, we'll give a margin of 13 pixel. Because in the showcase content, we have the image as well, as you can see. So let's give the image now a position. So to the image, we will give here width of 50%. Understand why we are giving 50%? Because outside it was 100%. So it was covering the whole web page, right? But now when we give 50%, it means it's the half of the portion. So the image will only take the half of the portion of that content, right? So it'll only take the half of the portion. We have h1 here also. So I'm going to just write some of the things for the h1. Font size 50 pixel, and again line height we are going to give 1.2. Okay, anything else? H1 we are done. We have a paragraph, so let's give the paragraphs as well. So for paragraph we are going to just give here a margin. Let's give a margin of 20 pixel 0. Okay, now have a look what has happened. So if you look here, only at the 50% we have this image. This was the showcase content, which is now in a height of 100%, right? And display flex is making sure that the content is on the left hand side and the image has come to the left hand side. And the image is on the 50%. That means the h1 and paragraph is also at the 50%, right? So this is what is the and content part which you've done. Now the website looks a little bit fine, a little bit okay, but still there are a lot of things to be done. You can see here the buttons are not designed here, and there's a lot of space which is not given to my margin, right? It's touching my border. So all those things also we need to cover up. Let's come back to the code. So fine, these things are done. Now what else? See, we have written the code for showcase content. We have written the code for showcase. Now it's the container. The container was totally occupied and it was touching my border. If you can see here, this is the container. This container is totally touching. So we need to give some of the things here as well. So let's try to code that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go at the last. I'm going to just type here the command for container. For the container, we are going to give a maximum width of 100 pixel. That's my whole screen width. We are going to give a padding of top, bottom, and left, right, 0 and 30 pixel. Then again a margin of 0 and auto, and an overflow of auto. Right? Let's try to see what is happening. So I'm not going to save it now, but I'm going to just go back. Let's save this. So you can see here, this part is having a space on the left and right hand side, and everything is now looking proper in this part. Okay. Now let's come back and let's do the coding part. Okay. Let's do the coding session now. So if I go back to my code, before doing the color part, let's complete the buttons also as well. We have the button here, button primary, button secondary. Let's try to do that. We also have one more class, my1, right? We have also one more thing, my1. My1 I'll explain you later on, but first of all, let's try to do this button thing. Okay. What we'll do in button is, well, first of all, we have two buttons, right? And in both the buttons, we want to make it appear the same way. So do you remember we used inheritance in our buttons when we have warning, success, error and all? We had four buttons, and in all the four buttons, the properties were same, correct? So what we did, we created one inheritance class of it, and then we used extend to extend it, right? We will do the same thing here. We'll create a percentage button, right? And in this we will write all the similar kind of things which we want in our button. So we want display to be an inline block. This we want in both the buttons. We want border radius, basically to make it curve, 5 pixel. Padding we need 8 pixel and 20 pixel. Hi Mir. And also we need margin we need 3 pixel. So this is the class which we have created, which is the common four properties which will be used in both the buttons. And now what we are going to do is we're going to take down the class name, which is btn primary. This was the class name given in my HTML, if you remember, button primary, button secondary. So in this one, what you're going to do, we are going to extend the inheritance thing, the btn, right? So percentage btn. So already all these four properties will come directly here. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to just change the background color as well. So I'm going to just write here background. And now there's one property which you can see here, which is called as lighten. So what is lighten? Basically, lighten will lighten your particular color with an amount. Okay. So first we write the color and then we write the amount. So basically how this works, let me explain you. So first you write the color. So let's say my color is primary color, which I'll be using, which is the same blue color. And the amount by which I want to lighten it is 10%. Okay. That's what I require here. So display will be inline block, border radius will be there, padding will be there. Can't we use mixin instead of percentage btn? You can use mixin as well, but again, understand when you're using mixin, it's kind of work as a function, right? So you will be able to use mixin. You can use mixin as well here. But again, for most of the buttons, we do use inheritance itself. You can use mixin as well. You have to just write at include every time. The same thing you're doing here as well. So you can do that, no problem. But yeah. So background color we have used here 10%, right? Now let's create the second button as well. So I'm just going to copy this. Secondary, extend percentage button. Here the same thing I'll take, but this time I'll just going to normally write the color. So dollar secondary color. Let me just check if everything is fine, and let's check out whether it's working or not. Okay, one more thing. So hover effect is not given here. Okay, let's check out. I think something is wrong because it is not showing me anything in my buttons. Background color is there, padding. Okay, let's check out what is wrong. One second, guys. Check out the code if anything is wrong, if anything which we have written wrong here. Display inline block, border radius, padding, margin, everything is fine. Button primary, background color, lighten. I think it is working because I've given the primary color here. That's why it is the same color which is the background color, and that's why we can't be able to see the difference. One second, guys, let's check the button once. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's create some mixins here, okay, for the colors so that you can understand what is happening. So what I'm going to do here is we will try to set a different color. We'll try to use a same kind of color everywhere. So we have a primary color, we have a font stack, we have a light color. Let's create one more primary color here. Let's give a light color. And let's give a secondary color. So now we have two colors. We have two primary colors. We have the blue one and we have the white one. Okay. So understand what you're going to do. These are the background colors of the page. So if I am going to attend any primary color as a background color, your text color should become black automatically. And if you are giving a primary color as white color, then your text color should become white automatically. Okay. So for that to do what you have to do, we have to create an if else statement. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just create a function here. Okay. And in this, I'm going to just write set text color. To this, I'm going to use one parameter, a color, right? And in this, I'm going to use an if statement, which is a conditional statement. And in this, what I'm writing if the lightness of the color, is greater than 70, right? If the lightness of the color is greater than 70, I think I'm missing out on one of the brackets, right? If the lightness color is greater than 70, then what's going to happen? It's going to return. Now understand, I've written here function. I have not written mixin. Function will return something. Mixin will not return anything. Okay, so that is the difference. When you write @function, it should return something. When you're writing mixing will not return anything. Okay, So understand the difference. The work is same. Whatever mixin will do, function will also do the same thing. The difference is function will return something, mixin will not. So whenever you want to return something, use function. Whenever you don't want to return anything, use mixin. So I'm going to return here a white color. Okay, so now you can see here what's happening. 1 second, let me just, yeah. So we have one function set text color in which the color is coming as a parameter. I'll be passing the value. Set text color will put it somewhere. If the lightness of the color is greater than 70, then bring on the 333, which is the black color. And if not, then bring on the light color. Okay, that's what is the function which we have made here. Now what I'm going to do here, this set text color, whichever I have written here, right, I'll put it in my buttons as well. Not only buttons, but also the different part of the code. So here in A, we have written this color, right? I'll change this to set text color. I will change this to set text color. We'll make it primary color. Okay. Let's save this. Let's check out. Okay. So now you can see what is happening. The background color is basically light color, right? The background color is light color, and that is why all my text color is black in color. If I change my background color to primary color, so right now you can see that this different color. Background color is primary color in my code. If you can see, I'll just change that. Here you can see I've commented this and I'm using right now this color, right? So if I save this, you can see this is what is happening. But suppose if I go back and I comment this one and use this as primary color, so you can see what is happening. The color has been changed, right? This is now white in color, but when it was earlier, when it was light color, then the color was different. Correct? So based on my background color, my text color is changing. Correct? Same thing happened here in my buttons. You can see the button color is also changed. I think in my second button, I'm using secondary color. You can see here I've used here secondary color, and here I have used black color. So let me just use here my default color, which was primary color. Okay, so now it looks perfect. Fine. Still, we have some more things to do. We can use some more SCCS commands. If you have not understood what I've done, let me just explain you. So see, look here. This is the body. This is the background color, which is light color. Okay. So this is the light color. And if you look here in the showcase, we have used background color, which is primary color. So primary color is now blue color. That's why here you can see the background color is blue color, right? And now I have written a code here that if set text color is different, if the lightness of the color is greater than 70, then return a black color, otherwise return a white color. That's what it is doing. So in my A, if you can see here in my A tag, what I've written, set text color dot primary color. Primary color is what? Primary color is right now this blue color. This blue color will come here. This blue color is greater than 70. Yes, it is. It is more darker. So it brings me this white color. So you can see here, this is white color. But suppose if I change this primary color, I make it dark, I make it lighter. I'm making it lighter, right? So now this will be false and this thing will become true. So my links will now become black in color. If I save this, you can see here, these links are now in black in color. That's what I'm trying to show you in that code. Okay, so this is one of the code which I have written. Now, what we'll do here is we'll also create one mixin. In this mixin, what we are going to do, we're going to create a set background, right? and we are going to give a background color here. Let's say the same color, and this we will change its set text color to dollar color. Okay, so this is one of the mixin which you have created, and this mixin we will be using in all the our other codes. So what we will do here is, here we have used this background color and the color, right? Can you see this background color and color? This is a mixin already. We have already used this, so I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to just write here include. What was the name of that? That was set background. So I'm going to just directly use set background. We have to pass one parameter. I'll be using a primary color background here. Okay, so what I've done, set background is here. Primary color will come here, background color will get that primary color, and set text color primary color will call this particular function, and it will then check, and it will, based on that, it will give me the text color as well. That's what I have done in set background. Same thing I can do it in my border, the buttons as well. So I'll go down in my buttons. I can remove this, and I can write here set background. We will include set background. In this we have to give one of the, color. So we are giving Lighten, and Lighten we will try to give a primary color with a value of 10%, so that it lightens the primary color as well. Same thing, we'll do it again, but this time we are not going to give any lighten. We are just going to directly write here secondary color. So I'm just going to remove it, as well, and here I'm going to just write secondary color. Fine. So I'm using set background mixin here. These all two values will go above. It will change the background color as it is, the primary and the secondary. Based on that value, this is gonna change. This will call the function. If primary color is there, primary color will come here. Based on whether it is higher the value, it will change the text color as well, right? This is how it will work. Let's check out what is happening. So if you look here, right now my background color is light. So based on that, my text color is black in color, and that is what is happening to the buttons as well, you can see. Okay, now suppose if I change my color, if I go back and make this as my primary color and comment this one, if I save this, one second, primary color, okay, anything wrong? I have written some button spelling wrong somewhere. Set background, the spelling is wrong, just check it out. Set background light. Anywhere dollar is missing. Okay, so this is how you can use your SCSS commands. understand that you have to use your variables. You have to use your, if you want to create a function which will return something, you can create that as well. You can create mixins, you can create partials as well, and you can also use nesting. You can also use the if else commands, which I've used here. So that's all about it, and that is what is all about CSS preprocessors. So I hope you understood how it works. Many projects are also there. Try to create one of the project which I'll just show you right now, so that you can do it in your free time. So let me just show you that. It's a very easy project, so let me just open it up. Okay, so you can see here this one. This is having 4 colors. Okay, you can use any color, whatever you want, but these colors are basically your used as a variable and also as a mixing property. So I'll just show you the code of this so that you can understand how this is created, and you can replicate this in as an assignment as well. So let me just show you how this is made. So you can see here we have this index.html. We have 4 divs here, right? We have 4 classes here. And if you go to your main.scss, you can see here we have 4 colors, which is given to one of the variable. And for each of the color in different colors, we are changing the background and body and div ka thoda bahut property diya hua, right? This is a very small code, but it does a lot of things. Okay. Similarly, what you can do is you can also create this one. If you can see here, this is also a very cool concept. So if you check out this once again, not color boxes, multiple colors. Yeah. So check out this. There are multiple colors here, right? These are all multiple boxes. Even if you scroll down this particular box, you can see here the box size changes. Everything changes here, right? So all the numbers, all the sizes, everything changes here. How is this happening? This is happening because of display flex property. And how do you give the colors? That concept I'm just going to show you now. If you look here, this is the code for it, main.scss, right? So we have used for loop here from 1 through 36, and with all of the nth child, we are changing the color of an HSL value, which is a hue, saturation, and thing, right? So $I into 10, 75%, 55%, this $I will every time change 1 through 36. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's why the colors are also changing based on that. So this is the main code based on this. Try to do this as well. This bodies and all, you can write it, I know that, but this is the main concept here. So this is using for loop. This is also used in SASS, okay, SCSS. So try to analyze these codes. These 2 assignments you can do. I am again going to show you. First is this one, and second one is this one. Try to do this. The codes are already shown in the program in the video as well. Try to figure it out how it is happening and how it is working. So once you do that, you'll be able to clear cut understand how this SCSS works. Okay, so that's all about it, guys. CSS preprocessors is done. I hope you have understood what is CSS and less and all the other concepts as well. So thank you so much for joining, and please do join the Telegram channel as well. You can click on it and you can join it. All the updates will be given there as well, and you can also go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is CodeBeyond. Please do not forget to hit the notification bell so that you get an update and notifications in the YouTube app as well. Also, please like and share so that you get notifications, and also more of number of people will get to know about this particular session, right? I'll be soon meeting you with Bootstrap, and we are going to again continue the Bootstrap series. I think we did some half of the portions. Half of the portion of Bootstrap is left, so we are going to complete that. Okay, so thank you guys. I'll meet you really soon. Bye bye. Take care.